one of the all-time greats, Mr. Greg Valentine. Sir, how are you today?
I'm terrific, thank you.
Good deal. Let's take some questions. Do we have questions? Raise your hand if you have a question. If you have a question, I'll bring you the mic, and we'll do all kinds of good stuff. Questions? Sure.
In your career in the ring, who hit the hardest?
I did.
You don't ask a wrestler that question. They're going to give you the same answer every single time.
Ronnie Garvin. Actually, nobody hit as hard as I hit him.
You're pretty confident in that. You're pretty confident that it was you. That's what. See, that's you're going to get the same answer you ask a wrestler.
They all complained about it. So, I got to wrestle Greg Valentine. I'm going to get beat up.
Can you please ask him not to hit me so hard? Question. Raise your hand if you have a question. Anybody? Sure. Yeah, man.
What was your favorite match you've ever wrestled?
Your favorite match. What was your favorite match?
It's hard to say and describe it as favorite because they all hurt. And but the most popular, probably with the fans, would be the dog collar match with Roddy Piper. That's not my favorite because it hurt a lot, but that's the fan favorite.
But what's your favorite?
Walking back to the dressing room.
Okay. Questions? No? Okay. So your dad was a professional wrestler. You got into the business. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into the professional wrestling business?
Well, I went on a tour with my father, Johnny Valentine, and went all through Texas, and that's mainly where he was at the time, and sent me to Canada, Calgary, with the Hart family, Stu Hart. That's where I was trained for about a year up there, and then the rest is history. I've been in the business, around the business, and in the wrestling profession for 40 years. And a lot of ups and downs, but mainly I was up there pretty much.
We've had a couple of Hall of Famers with us before. I think last time we had the barber himself come, and he told some pretty interesting stories about your guys' life on the road, going from town to town. A lot of fun that you guys used to get into. Is there anything in particular that you liked the best in the earlier days before it was so huge, like it is now?
Well, now, I'm not sure how it is now. I don't think they had to travel as much as we did. I don't think it's as rough now as it was in my generation. A lot of long car rides, a lot of long airplane flights, flying all over the world. I think it's easier for the guys now because it's mainly on television. That's all they play to, and they have a pay-per-view once a month, so it's more television related. But I think my time was a better time because it was new, and it was cutting edge. A lot of stuff had never been done before, and the quality of wrestling was better.
Right. Any questions? Anybody have any questions? Oh, I'm coming. I got you, man.
year did you start at wrestling?
What year did you start? What was the first year of your professional career?
Oh, 1974. Long time ago.
Sure.
What advice do you have for the youth that are wanting to get into the industry? What are your words of wisdom?
My words of wisdom would be, don't give up your day job, because wrestling is very unpredictable. When I broke in the wrestling profession, there was like 20 places to get a job to work. Now you've got Vince McMahon, one, and then I don't even know what the other ones are.
Vince McMahon.
It's Vince McMahon. It's one place to wrestle, and it's one place where you could excel and make a big impression and make a lot of money. There's really nothing else, just WWE, and that's it.
Questions? Sure, yeah. I'll meet you halfway. Hey, how's it going? Let me just come over here with you guys.
Good afternoon. You've held over 40 championships throughout the course of your career. What would you say was one of your favorite championships, and which match was that?
I don't know what would you say, 40 championships? I don't know if I had that many, but I had a lot of them. The Intercontinental WWE Championship belt and the NWA United States Championship belts were my favorite. Yeah, and the World Tag belts. I had it with Beefcake, and then I had one about 3 different times with Ric Flair. So.
Yeah. Nobody did it. I'm really surprised. Disappointment. There it is. Questions? Sure. All right.
So the entertaining part of wrestling, how does that work? Because you've got the experience of being a wrestler and the athletic ability for that, but then just the entertaining quality of that. Do y'all practice that, or does that come natural, or because y'all are fun to watch? Do y'all practice that?
Well, if you're a professional wrestler, you acknowledge. I mean, if you're just an amateur wrestler, you don't even look at the crowd. You go out there and professional wrestling. You acknowledge the crowd. You look at the crowd. In my case, I like to get the crowd pissed off at me. So, you know, you play to the crowd, but you don't play to them too much. But entertainment, I guess you call us entertainers because, you know, we put on a show. But it wasn't all show. A lot of it was hurt, and it hurt for real. That's the best way I can explain it.
It's more show now, right, than actual.
Oh, absolutely,
physical.
because it evolved into more show now because it's all on television and it's PG rated. They keep that for the advertisers. For television, so it's not. We were cutting edge. Our fights were a lot of dog fights. You know, we got down and dirty.
Right. I know Mr. DiBiase, who's here. The last time we spoke with him, he talked about how, you know, they wanted you guys to be these folks wherever you went. So it wasn't really just entertainment when you were in the ring. You know, you have that persona. Like, they would give him money to go out and just buy out a restaurant's meal. That way he was the $1 million man, you know. They wanted people to hate him, you know, and the entertainment was there, but it was a lot more skill based, I think, than it is now. More than likely, it sure does seem that way. Questions? Anybody? Yeah, sure, man.
With your father also being a professional wrestler, do you find that it was harder for you to break into the business than if you had just been a first-generation wrestler?
Was it easier to break into professional wrestling because your dad was a wrestler, or would it have been easier for you if you had just wanted to break into the business?
No, it was easier because he opened the door for me, but it wasn't easy when people would see that I was, or that they would find out that I was Johnny Valentine's son. They would expect more from me that I could give them at first. So, you know, it was hard at first until I really got going. Then I guess it helped me.
Didn't you go by Johnny Valentine Jr. for a period of time?
Yeah, I did. And then I got away from the name altogether. I went as Johnny Fargo for a while, teamed up with a guy named Don Fargo, just to get away from, you know, being compared to my dad, who was bigger than life back then. So after I got my feet good and wet, you know, 5-6 years in the wrestling business, then I became, you know, I used my real name, Greg Valentine. So, yeah.
Questions? Sure.
Did you ever have any bad experiences with fans?
Oh yeah. back in the old days, you know, in the 70s and 80s, after a match was over, and if they didn't like it because I beat up their favorite wrestler, I would have to literally fight my way to get to my car, and then they would throw bottles and everything at my car, and you know, it was a lot different. I've had people spit in my face when I came out. I remember one guy spit in my face, and just by reaction I hauled off and hit him in the face, and I broke his jaw, so that cost me money. So, you know, a lot of experiences like that. Nowadays, no.
Right. And some of what I think are some of the best things that I've come to learn about that time in the profession. I mean, you would not even consider that some of the guys today would get in their own vehicle and drive from arena to arena themselves. I mean, they're much more protected, I guess you would say, now than they went back in that day in the business.
Did you ever have any severe injuries, like from a wrestling match or during a competition?
Most of the time, I never broke a bone or anything, but I did tear my quad on my left knee. But that wasn't from wrestling; it was trying to get out of the ring, and the step broke. And then, so my leg broke because of the step. So that was a nasty injury. Took about a year to heal.
Was it?
You will have a severe injury?
Were there any major? I mean, because you know now I think maybe if a guy gets hurt, it's not really publicized as well. But you know, when you guys got hurt, was it easier to tell that story if, you know, like you were walking down the stairs and broke your leg? How did that happen for other people? Like how, if other people got seriously hurt, what did they do?
I took a year off, so
it was just, he's not here. He's just.
You know, they had to tell the fans that the guy's hurt and he can't wrestle and he won't be wrestling for a while. So you didn't keep it a secret, but a lot of times I wrestled, you know, smaller injuries. I'd wrestle hurt, you know, like a lot of baseball players, football players do the same thing. They're not 100%, but tape themselves up and go out there and do it anyway. So.
All right. Let's give it up for Mr. Greg Valentine. Awesome.
Thanks for coming out to the Comic-Con. I appreciate it. Come over and visit me.
Exactly. His table's right over there on that wall, so go by and say
right
hello.
over next to the $1 Million Man. So, thank you.
Yes, sir.